Hi again, this is Stefanie Carbone. Part 2 of talking about emotional wellness. I'm going to be focusing on what we call grounding and distraction exercises. And again, in my first talk, I spoke about using our breath to help ground us and bring us back to the present moment. With grounding exercises and distraction techniques, this is just another way of making some space in our day and finding ways to comfort ourselves. Maybe when we're having some difficult feelings or thoughts, or we're ruminating to the point where we can't do anything but think about something that's bothering us. So again, grounding is simply a set of strategies that help you detach from difficult thoughts or feelings and can be thought of a way of centering yourself. And although grounding techniques don't necessarily solve your problem that's contributing to these difficult emotions or feelings or thoughts, it does provide a temporary reprieve, I guess I would say, to gain control over our feelings and to keep them from getting worse as we go into our day. We want to avoid a downward spiral where the rumination is getting us to the point excuse me, where we're not even functioning. So I'm going to start by talking about some distraction exercises that I teach my high school students. And a distraction exercise is just, like I said, something that interrupts maybe some rumination and some difficult thoughts and gives you space in your day to do something besides think about those thoughts. So an example of a distraction exercise would be, excuse me, you pick a color in the room where you're sitting and look around the room and notice everything in the room that's that color. So I'm going to pick the color blue, for example. I'm sitting in a room and I'm just going to look around the room and look at all the different objects in the room that are blue. And just focus on those. Okay. So that's called the distraction exercise. I'm going to ask that you try it again with me. I'm going to pick the color green. Take a moment to look around the room and notice all the objects in the room that are green. So I'm wondering how that was for you. And while you were looking around the room, maybe self-consciously, but hopefully not, just noticing the object in the room, maybe you had some time to just focus on the objects instead of any thoughts that might have been popping in your head or thoughts that you might have started this activity with. A second distraction exercise is where you pick a category. And it could be a food, an animal. I'll pick the category of food, and you go through the alphabet. A for apple, B for bee, and you just spend time with this distraction exercise going through the alphabet, thinking about foods, A to Z. I'm going to take a few moments to do that with you, and I think I'll do it up to the letter P. You can do it to yourself like I'm doing, or you could do it out loud. A is for apple, B banana, C cookie, D donut, etc. So by spending this time distracting ourselves, we have actually given even just a few moments of space and an opportunity to pause during our day to distract as a way, like I said, to interrupt maybe some ruminating thoughts and to ground ourselves a little bit. And it's okay to use distraction exercises. It again, like I said, has given us this chance to pause. So let's talk a little bit about grounding exercises. Grounding exercises are just another distraction technique, and a favorite one that I teach my students is called 5-4-3-2-1. It's very popular. And working backwards, counting from 5, you are going to list things around you using your sensations as a distraction as you ground with your sensations. What you want to do is you think of 5 things that you can hear, and just pay attention right now to 5 things that you hear around you. I hear birds, I hear a TV, I hear a car. And then you want to think of 4 things that you can see around you. Now 3 things that you can touch or feel. You can literally do that. Touch your knee, the chair that you're sitting on. 2 things that you can smell. And then 1 thing that you can taste if you've got a cup of tea or a bottle of water nearby. So with grounding exercises and these distraction exercises, again, with grounding in particular, you're using your sensations, which is a part of your body and your humanness, to sort of break the cycle of ruminating and thinking about things. And these are exercises that are easy to remember. You can do them anywhere. You can, as you're getting ready to take a test maybe, or you're anxious about a doctor's appointment, sitting in the waiting room, you can use these grounding or distraction techniques to, again, give your mind and your body some space to just pause and maybe get out of your head a little bit. The only other pointers that I want to talk about when it comes to emotional wellness, when we're talking about grounding and distraction techniques, I have a few pointers that I'd like to share. Keeping a gratitude journal, when we write things down about what we feel grateful for, and taking time during our day, if we have a journal with us or writing on a piece of paper, leaning into small moments during your day where you're noticing the positive things that are working in your life, the positive moments or things that you have gratitude for. Those serve not only as grounding or distraction techniques, but it contributes to mental and emotional wellness. I also talk to students about designating worry time, where you give yourself a time during the day to worry. I will give myself, for example, the time between 3 and 3:15 or 3:30 to 4 to worry. So when thoughts pop up in my head about things I'm anxious about, I might find myself ruminating and getting to the point that my thoughts are taking up most of my day. So by designating a worry time, I give space to the rest of my day to maybe enjoy the present moment, enjoy the sensations around me, knowing that I have that time between 3 and 3:15 to worry and pay attention, and sort of put my worries on the shelf until that time. And again, giving myself space during the day to enjoy maybe the positives and the positive moments that are happening. We tend to think that worrying, the more we worry, the more we'll come up with a solution. But usually that's not the case, and it just ends out taking attention away from the positive moments. And worrying can take up huge amounts of time in our day. So again, designating some worry time can be a really great way to ground yourself and focus on emotional wellness. And one other thing I wanted to add was coming up with affirmations or coping thoughts. And an affirmation is just a positive statement that you can repeat to yourself, or an intention for the day that you can repeat to yourself when you're having a tough moment, such as, "This too shall pass," or "I've got this," or, "You know what, this is just a thought, I'm going to let it go." So those are other examples of how we can nurture our emotional wellness through grounding techniques, distraction techniques, finding time during the day, giving ourselves space and time during the day to lean in some positive moments so we can have a little bit more joy in our day-to-day moments. So thank you. I hope this is helpful, and take good care. Bye.